deal with airplane peanuts?
The world's premier comedy festival is back and bigger than ever before, with SkankFest 2025 officially relocating from its home in Las Vegas, Nevada to the Big Easy in New Orleans for 4 days of pure comedy gluttony.
SkankFest, November 15th.
No, November 4th, Friday,
November 14th and 15th in New Orleans, and you can get tickets at SkankFest.com.
Besides NOLA natives Mark Normand and Sean Patton, the insane lineup for SkankFest 2025 also features the likes of Dave Attell, Doug Stanhope, Shane Gillis, Matt McCusker, Tim Dillon, Tony Hinchcliffe, Harland Williams, 4 different guys named Mike, and so many more. The full list contains over 100 different names from all over the country, but part of what makes SkankFest so unique is that most of the biggest names in comedy today have been attending this festival since the very beginning. The very first SkankFest was held in New York City and was put together as almost a mockery of the mainstream festivals at the time, which typically charged comedians outrageous fees to even submit their work and would book their lineups based more on demographics and follower accounts instead of actual jokes. Meanwhile, SkankFest kept growing every year by simply putting comedy first, and that same core of funny comedians has continued to show up year after year regardless of how famous they become.
This one in general, it's the most shows we've ever done, more surprises than we've ever done before. And a big part of that is just the fact that everyone has just gotten so, comedy, there's more rock star comedians than there ever has been before, right? By far, it's the biggest boom we've ever had in comedy. So you're getting sort of like the scale of it has grown in a weird way. We obviously always have massive comedians on, and we're always looking to bring in the best comedians in the world, but our friends have just grown with the festival. And in the past 7 years, you watch the guys that we started with, the guys that we grew up with. Now it's like there's 60 or 70 actual legit headliners on the festival, whereas I think year one there was maybe a half dozen.
Calling SkankFest the #1 comedy festival in the world isn't hyperbolic at all, really. Besides being the only festival where comics literally compete in physical combat and perform naked roast battles, when you look at the list of names attending SkankFest, it almost reads more like a wish list of headliners that other local comedy festivals are lucky to land 1 or 2 of to put on their posters. Even the massive Netflix is a Joke festival, which has an unlimited budget to book legendary names, still takes place over the course of multiple weekends at venues spread out all over the notoriously walkable city of Los Angeles, and those crowds consist mainly of industry people and agents, compared to SkankFest, which is just all diehard comedy fans packed into one building with a bunch of different showrooms. Weirdly enough, the Riyadh Comedy Festival might actually be more comparable to SkankFest when it comes to having an insanely star-studded lineup and audiences full of smelly dudes excited to see comedy with no women in sight. Except for instead of making millions, some of these comics are almost losing money.
We can't afford to pay people what their weekend rate is. We'd be able to afford 5 comics for the level of guys that come to SkankFest, but we create an environment where people want to come.
It's fun.
And it's really fun, and the fans are so like appreciative, and you
I heard one fan be like, everyone's too drunk when they perform. We're like, I know.
It seems like almost every SkankFest is defined by one signature moment over the weekend that gets discussed throughout every podcast after. From Louis C.K. making his return to comedy at SkankFest in 2019, to the Astroworld situation in 2021, the Joe DeRosa saga of 23, and Ari Shaffir taking a shit on stage during Kill Tony in 24, SkankFest 2025 will sadly be missing one of its most reliable agents of chaos, as this will be the first year in the festival's decade-long history that the president of the podcast will not be in attendance.
You really bother me, and I think that there's a path for you to figure out a way to get back.
There is. If you remember in Lost, where they took a little thing down and they were suddenly in another place, yeah, dude, if there is one,
or you can find a flight back for a couple days to New Orleans. This is crazy.
I'm gonna be like here.
So what?
I can't just like jump to there. It's crazy.
What if we did SkankFest Niger?
The most mispronounced SkankFest of all time. Michael Che be like, dude, I can't come. I would anywhere else, but I'll get called that so many times.
We will, of course, be boots on the ground in New Orleans, so come back in a few weeks to hear what happened at SkankFest 2025 right here on the Comedy News. And if you're a comedian watching this video right now who would be down to do an interview while we're there, please shoot me a message on Instagram. And everyone else watching this video, please comment who you'd most like to hear from in the recap video, and we'll do do our best to get him on the horn while we're down there at some point in the festival. All right, time for the segments. Guest spots from last week. The Joe Rogan Experience sat across from Miranda Lambert, Andrew Gallimore, Elon Musk, Lewis and Big J, and Russell Crowe. James McCann was on Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. The Shaman and the Guard Dog took a trip to Stuff Island. Matt was also on Tiger Belly. Ryan Sickler went on Are You Garbage? Shams was on Flagrant. Kill Tony featured Sam Tripoli and Tim Butterly. Fiona Cawley might be drunk. Louis J. Gomez be trippin'. Jade Catapetta took a ride on the Harland Highway. The Sklar brothers stopped by Something's Burning. Vinny from Jersey Shore went on First Date. Mike Lawrence sat on the couch with Soder. Two Bears, One Cave was Bert and Duncan Trussell. Anthony DeVito stopped by Sagday to Pod. Jim Norton went on The Downside. David Keckner was on The Honeydew. Karen Fian sat in The Wayback. Ellie Orlando stopped by Whiskey Ginger. Carlos Herrera was on Fatfish. Chance the Rapper went on The Adam Friedland Show. Colin Tyrell joined the Legion of Skanks. Paul Verzi stopped by Jim Norton Can't Save You. Story Wars was a battle between Sal Volcano, Mike Racine, and Hormons Rashidi. And Sal also took his shoes off with Rick Glassman.
I sent you this. I didn't know this, but they did some type of roundup, like for the award, or like the best podcast of last year, and there's like the top 3 or something like that, or top 3 or top 5 singular podcast episodes of last year, and we had like number 2 or 3 or something like that.
What was it? I remember there was this. There was the Joke World.
That's probably it.
I don't think was that
What
that
is
what
that?
the clip
What is
was?
that?
Joke World. Shout out to Joke World. They talk a lot about comedy stuff and they're pretty cool. And they do a thing where this was a thing. And I remember an episode of this. I don't remember if it was this. I thought this was. I don't want to even say.
No, it was.
Nice.
Yeah, it was him. Yeah, they did a roundup of like the best episodes, and that was on there. And I'm like,
I still don't like revealing what it was. If you haven't seen Sal 3.0, watch it from the beginning and don't read the comments. Although people are pretty good at not spoiling stuff in the comments.
One of the best moments of my my life.
This past weekend with Theo Vaughn was joined by Andrew Santino and Miles Teller. Dean Burmester hit the links on No Bad Lies. Jeff Dye did stuff with Howie Mandel. Durag and the Deer Tag had on James Moss. Sir Winston Pickles stopped by Diaz Nuts. CJ Bishop and Dave Bishop were on Dad Meat. Dylan Carlina was on The Solid Show. Mike Racine was on Beautiful Boys. Gabby Bryan caught the Steph infection. Mika Fox and Sarah Tolamash were on Only Fiends. Adam Gilbert went on Cockfight. Caleb Huron visited Stavi's World. Mike Rainey had a rough week. Margot Price was the guest on Burtcast. Frankie Quinones went on Being Ian with Jordan. Judd Apatow broke bread with Tom Papa. Oz Perlman joined the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. Christina Mariani went on Jet Fuel. Naeem Ali and Drew Montana were on Zach Amico's Morning Zoo. Rich Voss and Rosebud Baker stopped by You Know What Dude. Tyler Horvath took a ride on the Dynamite Rocket Ship. Dana Gould was on Fitstock Radio. Burbs Bros had on Cameron Leedy and Martino Lopez. Lemaire and Sean experienced Friendly Fire. Tuesdays with Stories, Chubby Behemoth, Panties in the Mouth, Son of a Boy Dad, Radio Ridley Radio, Boys Cast, Bad Friends, The Regs, The Tim Dillon Show, YMH, The Church, and History Hyenas all did not have guests, and we interviewed James McCann right here on Joke World. As far as brand new stand-up comedy specials that are either out right now or gonna be out soon, Ryan Sickler, Live and Alive, and Louis J. Gomez, You're Making This Worse, are both out on YouTube right now. Mo Amir, Wild World was uploaded to Netflix. Jay Jordan, Yes Ma'am, and Jowing Summers, What Species Are You, are both out on Hulu, and Zoltan Kazas, London Fog, is out right now on YouTube. Zoltan, thank you for being here again. You have a new special coming out on November 9th. How long have you been working on the material in London Fog?
Probably a year and a half to 2 years, I think.
That's interesting. That's the first time I'm hearing that.
This isn't the second time I was asked that, for sure.
Well, you've had insane success with your prior YouTube specials being in the millions of views. From the production side of things, when you're filming a special and you're gonna maybe film it more than one time versus just setting up a camera that you're gonna film for just your stand-up for a regular YouTube clip, what's just the biggest differences going into that from the production side?
I mean, from the production side, I'm not a part of it. Like when I'm setting up the camera at a comedy club, I'm running back there, I'm doing this, and then I got to run back afterwards, take it down, and then head to the merch pitch, meet and greet thing. Yeah. The production side, I'm just out of it. There's just a lot of rehearsals. Like I have to rehearse coming on to stage, little things. My wife puts makeup on my head so I don't look hideous on 4K cameras or whatever. It's completely different from me just setting up a camera at a club. Stress levels are way higher as opposed to being at a club and not caring at all. So yeah, very different.
I've heard comedians say that they hate like editing their own specials when they're on stage. challenge. Do you do that yourself still?
I have to watch the hour enough that I hate it at the end.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I have to remind myself why I thought any of this was funny to begin with. But thankfully with this one, we kind of just kept everything in. There was like a couple jokes where I like missed a sentence on one taping and then we got it on the other, but then we like, you know, with master editing techniques that they have, they were able to make it look all seamless. But yeah, the amount of times you have to watch yourself is nauseating.
I don't know if this question will make that much sense, but do you ever think like how much people consume stand-up online nowadays? The completely polished version of the special almost feels like unnatural because they're so used to seeing so much like crowd work.
That's a really good point. I didn't even think of the crowd work aspect of it, but just I've had people tell me, so like, oh yeah, I watch all your YouTube specials and you have like 100 of them, and I'm like, oh, those aren't like specials.
Yeah.
Those are just like clips that I shot at a club. But from an audience's standpoint, what is the difference between like a full-on special and then just, oh, hey, this was my weekend in Tacoma of some stuff I came up with that week, and production value, and the fact that like this is the material I've decided to hold on to for 1.5 to 2 years, and we put it in its place and it became whatever it's going to become, and now we're putting it out there. But I often wonder, like from the audience's standpoint, watching it online, what is the difference between this other than there's like 1,000 camera angles and they did a thing where the camera loops around and you come out and do this weird queen wave before you start your comedy. Yeah, it is so much comedy has definitely changed the perception of specials versus clips versus just little short sets. Yeah,
because also people will even say, oh, I saw your Netflix special on YouTube. Like they don't even know.
Yeah, that's how, which by the way, congrats to Netflix for you have become the standard bearer of comedy. You are Kleenex to tissues. Like people are like, oh yeah, when's your next Netflix special coming out? And you're like, wow, hopefully I get one. That would be awesome if I ever get one. But yeah, just the fact that people call it that shows how popular they are.
There's also a few projects in the works right now that will be coming out soon. That list starts on November 12th with an all-new documentary about the life and stand-up career of Eddie Murphy called Being Eddie, coming out on Netflix. But stand-up wise, we have Sebastian Maniscalco, It Ain't Right on Hulu November 21st, and Kumail Nanjiani, Night Thoughts, also on Hulu December 19th. And not technically stand-up specials, but Josh Johnson, Big J. Ogerson, Fahim Anwar, and Nimesh Patel all have new stand-up comedy posted on their channels right now, along with Brian Simpson's new set out on the Don't Tell comedy channel. Plus, there's an all-new episode of Dr. Phil Live, Stand-Up on the Spot, and Roast Battle League that are all uploaded to YouTube as well. But other than that, if you are going to SkankFest this year in New Orleans, we will obviously be there and walking around with a bunch of free stickers. We'll have some wristbands for any Joke World subscribers that we run into. If you aren't able to make it this year and still want some free shit, fill out the form in the Joke World Instagram bio and I'll send you some stickers in the snail mail. As long as you're subscribed to the channel, of course, which I can't technically enforce, but we're playing by the honor system around here. All right, I'll see you bastards in New Orleans.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.